The Rapture story is finally over, but that doesn't mean the Bioshock story is. Instead of going deep underwater, we're going to take a journey high up into the skies, with the city of Columbia. Bioshock Infinite was released in 2013 and was developed by Ken Levine, the original creator, and his studio Irrational Games, which played a part in the original game's development. This game went through an incredible amount of stages, and after this, I definitely urge you to watch a video on the development of this game, as it went through a lot. I might make a video in the future about it, but I haven't decided yet. Playing through this game for the first time is one of the best experiences I have had, and I dream every time for that moment to come back. But I cannot tell you how many times I've played through this and still feel its impact. This was the very first Bioshock game I actually watched when I would have to hide my DS and my iPod under my pillow every night. It was by a YouTuber named Blitzwinger, who is still going, and I want to thank them for making their series, because I probably would not love the series as much as I do today. This game takes a lot of twists and turns, and I want to try cover it in as much detail as I possibly can. There's a lot to go through, and if possible, I would really highly recommend playing the game yourself first before coming here, but if you can't, I hope to explain it well enough for you. So, let's dive into this. Of course, there will be spoilers ahead, and it's one hell of a journey. Welcome to Columbia.
Booker, are you afraid of God?
No. But I'm afraid of you.
Are you going to just sit there?
As compared to what? Standing?
Not standing, rowing.
Rowing? Hadn't planned on it.
So you expect me to shoulder
What's
the
this?
burden?
No. But I do expect you to do all the rowing.
And why is that?
Coming here was your idea.
My idea.
I've made it very clear that I don't believe in the exercise.
The rowing.
No. Imagine that's wonderful exercise.
Then what?
The entire thought experiment.
Excuse me. How much longer?
One goes into an experiment knowing one could fail.
But one does not undertake an experiment knowing one has failed.
Can we get back to the rowing?
I suggest you do, or we're never going to get there.
No, I mean I'd greatly appreciate it if you would assist.
Perhaps you should ask him. I imagine he has a greater interest in getting there than I do.
I suppose he does, but there's no point in asking.
Why not?
Because he doesn't row.
He doesn't row.
No, he doesn't row.
Ah, I see what you mean. We've arrived. Shall we tell him when we'll be returning?
Would that change anything?
Might give him some comfort.
Is that something we can agree on?
Hey! Is somebody meeting me here?
I'd certainly hope so.
It does seem like a dreadful place to be stranded.
Well, maybe there's someone inside.
The year is 1912, and we start on a rowing boat joined by two mysterious individuals, giving us a brief description of what seems to be like a simple job of finding a girl. They give us a gun, some coins, and a key. In the distance, we can see something very familiar, a lighthouse, and this is where we've dropped off. And now you can probably tell this is set years and years before the other games, as everything is much older. We are left in the dock, and with nothing else to do, we head into the lighthouse and greeted with a religious message, and we get our first look at Booker, the main character. Going up, you can see the lighthouse has been ransacked, and unfortunately we come across what seems to be the lighthouse keeper, and looks to have failed his job. The whole atmosphere from the start is very unnerving, with a death so sudden and old-time religion, an old gospel song playing in the background. It just puts you on edge. Have a watch.
I am dying. It's good when I am dying, and it's good enough for me.
To be honest, this whole experience from the very beginning really puts you on edge. An old song and surrounded by death really places you in a nerving scenario. Heading up to the very top, we come across a door with bells and some familiar looking symbols from the box that the two individuals gave us. We take out the card we were given and input the number of rings for each symbol. Then the light in the sky starts letting off these ominous horns.
What in the world is...
The door opens and a very inviting red chair appears. We sit and it straps us in.
All right. Looks like they expect me to sit in their fancy chair. So what the hell? Go!
Make yourself ready, Pilgrim. The bindings are there as a safeguard.
No, God damn it!
Ascension. Ascension in the count of 5. Count of 4.
No.
3, 2, 1.
No!
Ascension. Ascension.
Just stay calm.
5,000 feet. 10,000 feet. 15,000 feet. Hallelujah.
We have now made it to Colombia. Unlike the other games where we went below the ocean, here we have gone high up into the sky. The pod shot us thousands of feet into the air and has brought us to what looks like an underground church or temple. Well, not really underground, but in the sky, if you get what I mean. Walking around trying to find an exit, there are many rooms talking about someone called the Prophet.
Where am I?
Heaven, friend. Or as close as we'll see till Judgment Day.
Best keep such questions to myself, unless I want to get made.
Going down now to the main area, you can see rows and rows of water and candles leading up to a group of people and a preacher. So we decide to join the circle.
And to our prophet, Father Comstock, we recommit through sacrifice and the giving of thanks, and by submerging ourselves in the sweet waters of baptism. And lo, if the prophet, is it someone new? Someone from the Sodom below, newly come to Columbia to be washed clean before our prophet, our founders, and our Lord?
I just need passage into the city.
Passage to the city. Brother, the only way to Columbia is through rebirth in the sweet waters of baptism. Will you be cleansed, brother?
It's either this or turn.
Hey. I baptize you in the name of our prophet, in the name of our founders, and the name of our Lord. I don't know, brothers and sisters, but this one doesn't look clean to me.
Who's there? Who's there?
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
What do you want?
We had a deal, DeWitt. Open this door right now.
We've just had a flashback of Booker back in his office with a very angry person knocking on his door, repeating over and over, "Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt." We open the door and a number of ships are attacking what looks to be New York. After almost drowning, we awake in a very green garden, filled with more religious people praying. It seems very calm for now. Now we get on to one of the most iconic scenes in the game, which I think is the most beautiful introduction ever.
I bet we can have some. Good to see you.
Perfect day for the celebration. Live Ricky's for the girls and amusements for all ages. That statue. Like does not matter to a Liberty Scout. Saltonstall's all right, I tell you. Says his faith, family, and fatherland. Who could be against all that?
Never hire an artist, my dear fellow.
That was our proper introduction to Columbia. A beautiful city high up in the clouds. People and children laughing about, plants growing everywhere, and the sun shining brightly. Everything's perfect. However, we get our first glimpse at the propaganda that is spread around. You see, as well as audio diaries, now known as voxophone.
Say something, Sonny.
What's a voxophone? What's a voxophone?
Exactly that. A personal record of voice.
Hey, just so we're clear, I'm not paying for this.
We also have kinetoscopes, basically the old flip books that you would crank to watch through them.
They are a temperamental and unreliable lot to a man.
Uh-huh.
I told him that the park is exceedingly far behind schedule. The land... landscaping is half finished. The statue...
Carrying on, we are stopped to watch a procession showing off what looks to be the story of this prophet person. After carrying on a bit, we are given a telegram from a person called Lutess telling us to stop looking for the girl.
Yeah, that's where they said I'd find her.
Telegram, Mr. DeWitt.
Huh.
Telegram for you, sir.
DeWitt, stop. Do not alert Comstock to your presence. Stop. Whatever you do, do not pick number 77. Stop. Lutess. What the...
We are greeted with the sight of the tower Booker was told the girl would be in. Going a bit further, we come across a fair. There are multiple people shilling and showing off these mysterious powers called vigors. Now, that sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? You have the option to play these little mini games, showing off some of the guns that we'll come across and some of the vigors as well. But we finally get a taste of our own and gain a free sample of the first one, and that is called Possession.
Men of metal, with possession,
One of those.
are the master. With just a whisper, they're all ears.
Possession allows us to possess machines to either aid us or give us money, and even possess enemies to help us for a little while. Along with these vigors, we need Eve, right? Not here. Vigors require something blue and similar, which is known as salts. We also come across some very familiar sounding people.
Heads.
Or tails.
Come on, let me through.
Heads.
Or tails.
Tails.
Told you. I never find that as satisfying as I'd imagined.
Chin up. There's always next time.
I suppose there is.
We walk past a sign saying, "Beware of the false shepherd." Booker holds up his hand, revealing a mark, which matches the one on the sign, but thinks nothing of it. We eventually come across a raffle where things start to take a turn.
And now, the 1912 raffle has officially begun!
Mister!
Sorry, no sale.
Silly. There's never a charge for the raffle. You've been sleeping under a rock?
77.
77. That's a lucky number. I'll be rooting for you.
Bring me the bowl! Is that not the prettiest young white girl in all of Columbia? All right then. The winner is number 77!
Oh, what do you know?
Over here! He's the winner!
Number 77, come and claim your prize! First round!
It was me! It was all me! Please! Please! Please, what are you doing?
Come on! Are you gonna throw it? Or are you taking your coffee black these days?
Let her go, please! I'm the one you want!
Oh! Looks like we've got a shy one here!
Son of a bitch.
Wait! It's him!
Now, where'd you get that brand, boy? Don't you know that makes you the backstabbing snake in the grass false shepherd?
And we ain't letting no false shepherd into our flock!
Show them what we got planned, boys!
Stop him! Stop him!
If you didn't understand what went on there, let me explain. Unfortunately, being 1912, segregation was still a major thing, and as you probably would have noticed, every NPC we've encountered is white. This is because all of the other races are split away and forced to work the low, dirty jobs around Columbia, which we will see later. The reason they held this raffle as entertainment is to punish and make fun of an interracial couple. Now, you being lucky, get a chance to throw your baseball at either the couple or Fink, the host. And now, you better always choose the latter option, or you are a horrible person for life. Either way, they noticed the mark on your hand, and now everyone is after you for some reason. After a rather gruesome end to the police officers, we pick up their skyhook and use that as our melee weapon, which is super powerful. We then manage to get a pistol and easily defeat them all. However, we then come across our first mini-boss, someone called the Fireman, utilizing a vigor called Devil's Kiss, basically allowing them to shoot fire, kind of like Incinerate, but kind of not. We defeat them and are able to pick up the vigor for ourselves. We can then take refuge in a restaurant called the Blue Ribbon. The Blue Ribbon will be a little different depending on the version you are playing. If you own a DLC, you'll gain access to a host of early upgrades, which you'll see here. But the main thing is that you are given a strange yellow liquid from a woman you saw earlier. You now have the shield, and this will be useful when fighting. Exiting the restaurant, you now have to make your way closer to the tower. However, there are soldiers everywhere, but they are no match for us. We're able to enter a house and explore a bit, where we come across a locked chest, and a person who doesn't mind us, giving us an insight into that we're not the only ones going against the system. In another house, we can see a couple that are hosting and helping different minorities, and they send us to safety when the soldiers come knocking on their door asking for questions. We make our way to the Fraternal Order of the Raven, which is most definitely a cult and nothing else, containing zealots and a whole lot of crows and ravens. We fight the different members and find the key to the chest, which we can go back for. We follow the leader of the group towards a very gruesome scene of an unfortunate prisoner. Luckily, the fight is super easy. We can gain a brand new vigor, Murder of Crows, allowing us to shoot the crows to attack enemies, and it's definitely one of my favourites. We are also able to enter a house where a woman is being asked questions by the police, but we can avoid them easily.
Blue. No. Green. I can't remember. His eyes were bigger than that.
Okay, Miss, can you recall his hair color?
It was... red, curly? He looked Irish.
But after a few more fights, we're now at the gateway to the Monument Island. Unfortunately, the gondola is closed, and we have to make our way there by means of the skylines. But getting there, something happens.
Stand down! Stand down!
He who crossed the Delaware with flaming sword and the wings of angels. Watch over me and my peace.
I know why you've come, false shepherd. I see every sin that blackens your soul. Wounded knee, the Pinkertons, the drinking, the gambling, and of course, Anna. And now, to repay a debt, you've come for my land. But not all debts can be repaid, Booker.
You don't know me, pal.
Prophecy is my business, Mr. DeWitt. As blood is yours. Do you know why these men will die for me? Because I have seen their future in the glory, and hence they are content. What brought you to Columbia, Booker? Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt? This will end in blood, DeWitt. Then again, it always does with you, doesn't it? It always ends in blood. You've come to lead my lamb astray, but thy crook is bent and thy path is twisted. Go back to the Sodom from which you came. Go back!
Holy shit.
Who we've just met there is the leader of Columbia, Comstock, and he is going to try everything to get in our way no matter what happens. After the encounter, we attempt to board his Zeppelin.
The Lord forgives everything, but I'm just a prophet, so I don't have to. Amen.
Amen.
Jesus! Hell out of here!
Upon entering, we can see everything has been abandoned, but there is a voxophone left by a worker called Ty Bradley.
I guess even in a restricted area, these crackers need someone to clean the floors. Those politicians and scientists don't bother about what they say around me, because I'm some half-leaded colored boy. But I can tell they scared out of their wits by that thing they got locked upstairs. Yes, sir. They got a tiger by the tail, and they don't know whether to hang on or run.
We come across some very strange things, like a teddy bear, poetry book, and what I'm just going to call a bandage. But every time we pull the lever, it changes form. We also find a more troubling diary from Ty.
Mr. Thompson, sir, I replaced the entire fuse bank as asked, and the lights were all in working order last night. Last night? There they go again. We go through boxes of fuses every day as of late, just in the siphon alone. I don't... Oh, something's happening.
Something happened to him, and we have no idea where or what did happen, but it sounds concerning. We also come across various videos playing of a girl in a tower doing different things, and then a room with something called the siphon, looking like it's sucking energy into it. Up the elevator, we come across a window with the girl behind it.
His love in every tumor, because they are the train which takes me to his station. And I go with joy, knowing that
that's where we need to go.
my earthly place.
That's her. Whoa! Whatever that was, it's got nothing to do with the job at hand.
What makes the girl different? I suspect it has less to do with what she is, and rather more with what she is not. A small part of her remains from where she came. It would seem the universe does not like its peas mixed with its porridge.
With the last scene, she seemed to open some portal to Paris, but how is this possible? Further up the tower we go, we accidentally fall into a room.
Hello. Hey! Knock it off! Stop it! Will you stop it? Not here to hurt you.
Who are you?
My name is DeWitt. I'm a friend. I come to get you out of here.
Get away! Are you real?
I'm real enough.
He's coming. You've gotta go.
Why?
You don't want to be here when he gets here. Just a minute, I'm getting dressed.
Get you out of here.
There's no way out. Trust me, I've looked. Stop it, you're too impatient. That's enough.
What about this?
What about it?
This is the way out, isn't it?
What are you... Give it to me. Huh. It's a way out.
We now have to escape as fast as we can, as what seems to be a giant mechanical bird chasing after us. This is Songbird, Elizabeth's guardian.
Tower! This way!
Mr. DeWitt! Mr. DeWitt! Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt! Are you in there, DeWitt?
Anna? 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 Anna?
No, it's me, Elizabeth. Are you all right?
Where am I?
Back in the land of the living. Here, let me.
I'll be fine.
You almost drowned. You need to...
I said I'm fine. Just give me a minute.
Do you hear that? It's music.
Go on, I just need to...
Okay, I won't be long. I won't be long, Mr. DeWitt.
Where is she?
Now, I have to say, this next bit is one of my favourite areas in the whole game, and you'll see why. After washing up on the shore, Elizabeth gets a bit sidetracked and promises to come find us later after we've woken up. However, when waking up, there is no sign of her. We start to explore the area, and it is basically just a giant fake beach in the sky, made of course for the residents to relax in. I have to say that the atmosphere is one of the nicest in the whole game. The design and the music all match together so perfectly.
1, 2.
Hey, miss it. Hey, Miss Elizabeth.
Hello! Oh, this is wonderful! Oh, come dance with me, Mr. DeWitt.
I don't dance. Come on, let's go.
Why? What could be better than this?
How about Paris?
Paris? I don't understand. How could we get there?
That's where that airship's going, but if you want to stay and dance, we can...
No, let's go! Come on, let's go! Come on, let's go right now! I'm out. It's hard to believe, but it's true, isn't it? Oh, can you smell that? I've never smelled anything like that before, have you?
Beaches I know don't smell much like that.
Mr. DeWitt, Comstock. I've read about him. They say he can see the future.
Give a man a little power. He falls in all kinds of love with himself.
I don't like his look.
Do you dislike the look of the prophet these days?
Can we leave now?
We now encounter the weird pair of people again, this time offering Elizabeth with a pin for either a bird or a cage. Now, it may not seem that significant, but its true meaning relates directly to Elizabeth, where the bird being the songbird that we just encountered, and the cage, of course, being her tower. In the end, it doesn't actually matter what you pick, it's just there to make you think. I chose the bird. Now, the tower is starting to be revealed from the smoke, and people have realised what has happened, which means we have to get moving. We decide to sneak round through the workers' entrance, as going through a security checkpoint is probably not a great idea. We discover Elizabeth's lockpicking skills and encounter the couple from the fair. They're all happy and safe. Elizabeth also queries why the toilets are separated, showing a further glimpse into how Columbia is and how she was isolated from everything. We can see the divide where, how for the whites the toilet is beautiful and nice, but the other toilets are dark and run down. We're now at the ticket counter hoping to get one for the airship, but the officer surprises us. Elizabeth doesn't like us killing people and starts to run away and escape from us, but we tell Elizabeth this is going to be unavoidable.
I can't believe you did that. They're all dead. You killed those people.
Elizabeth,
You're a monster.
what did you think was going to happen?
What?
Do you understand the expense people went through to keep you locked up in that tower? You think people like that are just gonna let you walk away? You are an investment, and you will not be safe until you are far away from here.
What do they want from me?
I don't know. One thing I've learned. If you don't draw first, you don't get to draw at all.
You're bleeding. Come here. What happened back there? It's not the last of it, is it?
I don't know.
There. I suppose I best get used to it. I've read a thing or two about medicine. I'll do my best to keep you supplied with remedies.
We only have one more area standing in our way, and that is Soldier's Field. The gondola isn't working as it has run out of power, relying on a brand new vigor, Shock Jockey, and this can be found in the Hall of Heroes. Walking around Soldier's Field is really calming, similar to Battleship Bay, but that's all fine until the police come and try to stop us. We make it to the elevator and something interesting happens.
There won't be a line to get in.
Anything wrong?
Nothing I can't fix.
Oh, it's a bee. I hate these things.
Jeez, just kill it.
No, it'll sting me.
Elizabeth!
I have a better idea.
What are you doing?
Opening a tear!
Oh, shit! What is that?
It's a tear. I used to open them all the time in my tower.
What is a tear?
It's like a window. A window to another world. Most of the time they're dull as dishwater, a different colored towel or tea instead of coffee. But sometimes I see something amazing and I pull it through. There.
Good God. I don't suppose you've got an airship in there?
I don't think so. But there is. There is something. Oh no!
Close it.
I'm trying!
Close it! I don't really understand what I just saw back there, but it sure as hell looks like a shortcut to getting us killed.
But I could help.
I can handle whatever comes along. Trust me.
Have it your way, I suppose.
Elizabeth just opened a tear, and that's her power. It will provide pretty useful later, but going into the Hall of Heroes, we encounter a familiar person to Booker, Cornelius Slate.
As deeds will be sacred, and they will claim the spoils to them. I need not live to see it.
Our prophet, Father Comstock, commander of the 7th Cavalry.
That man did not lead the 7th. Hell, I don't even remember the guy.
Corporal DeWitt proved his worth on the field that day.
Well, I'll be. Slate? Is that you?
You've always been different, haven't you, Booker? You crave no glory.
Look, I see you're caught up in some kind of jam here. If you could see fit to let us through to where they keep the shock jockey, then we'll...
That tin soldier, Comstock, wants my boys dead. We won't die at his hands.
There's going to be trouble.
All my men have left is a choice. Die at the hands of a tin soldier, or a real one!
Anything. Here, ammo!
You see, you're a killer, Booker. Like it or not.
Just give us the shock jockey.
If you want the vigor, Booker, you will give my men a soldier's death. They wait for you with wounded knee and baking.
You see, Slate knows Booker from participating in multiple fights throughout the war. Slate is angry at Comstock, as in this museum, Comstock is depicted as a war hero, but that simply isn't true because he was never there. So Slate is here, and with his soldiers too, who also participated, and Slate wants to send all of them to honourable deaths. So he decides to test Booker in 2 trials. In each one, Slate states that he and the soldiers are true patriots, and Comstock did nothing at all.
You were there. That wounded knee. I can see it in your face.
Tell her, Booker. Tell her how we strode that battlefield like the heroes of Sparta. I still hear the screams. Does Comstock? Here's the soldier I spoke of. The kind of man Comstock pretends to be. See if I told you true. You see, young miss? You see the man that Comstock wishes he was? A real soldier.
I don't want to do this, Slade. Just give me what I need.
I will. After you do the same for me. Come and look for me amongst the boxers.
Who are the boxers?
The Chinese. He means us to head to the other display.
Can you hear Comstock's tin soldiers coming to silence us? But we are the true patriots. The
history that does not fit in their books.
It's the Boxer Rebellion.
In Peking, it was my hand that put the city to the torch. Of course, that's not how Comstock tells it. You let them die like men.
I didn't ask for this. I have no quarrel with these men.
Heroes never ask.
I never claimed to be no hero.
Then what are you? If you take away all the parts of Booker DeWitt you tried to erase, what's left? Come back to the rotunda. It's almost over.
What did slate mean? What did you try to erase?
Now that you're out of yours, you might realize cages have their advantages.
Choice is better than none. No matter what the outcome.
I've got what you need, Booker. You will find me past the First Lady's memorial.
Afterwards, going through, we come across a lot of propaganda, also something troubling to Elizabeth.
The seed of the prophet lay in the womb of Our Lady but for a single week. Comstock had a child. My books never mention anything about a child.
That's quite an omission. Can't imagine that was by accident.
The child took ill, and Our Lady prayed for the prophet's heir day and night. That's my tower.
Lo, while Daisy Fitzroy has murdered my beloved, she shall not have the child. She shall not come betwixt her and prophecy.
The seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man.
You're Comstock's daughter.
No, I can't be. I can't.
He wants you to follow in his footsteps.
Well, I want a puppy, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna get one.
We now get to sample Elizabeth's tear abilities. She gives us the option to either summon a turret or a skyhook. I go with the turret, but you can easily switch between the two depending on what combat advantage you prefer. We are so close to the shock jockey, but Slate has one more thing up his sleeve. A Patriot. A robot that looks like George Washington handling a giant minigun. Lovely. But you know how good we are at fighting, and we go to open the shock jockey, but Slate has stolen it all, and there is none left. But you know what's going to happen. It's time we fight him. But instead, we get swarmed with his soldiers, and Slate is now sitting in the hall, waiting for us.
You're not done here, soldier! Eat everything that's on your plate! Finish it! You're a tin man now! A tin man!
Press to shoot.
You spared him.
He wasn't no mercy. Comstock's men will surely take him.
Do you ever get used to it? Killing.
He gives us the option to either shoot him or spare him. I spared him, but thinking about it now, he would have wanted to die, and something we come across later to further that decision. Now, with Shock Jockey in our hands, we're back on our goal of getting to the First Lady. After multiple fights, we're on the gondola on the way up. Booker starts the airship but sets it to New York. And, as you can probably tell, Elizabeth is gonna get quite angry.
I want to see Paris. I want to see everything.
It's up to you now. There's no one...
Wait, what is that? 40 north by 74 west. That's not Paris, that's New York.
How'd you know that?
One thing I had in that tower was time, Mr. DeWitt. Time to study things like geography.
I owed money. And there's a fellow who... He offered to wipe away my debt in exchange for you. Come on. Hey, Elizabeth, it's gonna be okay. Come on. Everything's gonna be okay. Will you just turn around and talk to me and we can...
Fresh air did the trick. This one's awake.
So you're this false shepherd we've been hearing so much about. Caused a mess of trouble at the raffle.
You Fitzroy?
Nothing but.
I got no quarrel with you or your Vox Populi. This is my airship you're hanging me out of, and I got perilous need of it.
Really? Cause it sure look like old Comstock's airship to
Listen,
me.
I ain't looking for a fight.
There's already a fight, DeWitt. Only question is, which side you on? Comstock is the god of the white man, the rich man, the pitiless man. But if you believe in common folk, then join the Vox. If you believe in the righteous folk, then join the Vox.
I just want my ship.
And the Vox shall give her to you. But first, you must help the Vox. Down in Finkton, there's a gunsmith who can supply weapons to our cause. Get our guns from him, and you shall have your ship back.
After being knocked out, we encountered Daisy Fitzroy, the leader of the rebel group, the Vox Populi. Their aim is to go against Comstock's ideals relating to segregation. However, they don't trust us, of course. They have taken refuge in the First Lady airship, and the only way we can get it back is to retrieve some weapons for them. So of course, we agree it's our only way out. Now, Finkton Docks is another one of my favourite areas. The whole of Finkton is basically the workplace of Colombia. The docks, of course, for importing and exporting. Then you can also come across the factories where they make the vending machines and such. You can also take an insight into the workers here, which I'll talk a little bit about later. We eventually catch up to Elizabeth as she is being thrown off a ship where she was trying to hide. Of course, still angry, she starts opening tears to try stop us, accidentally opening one that will get her caught again. We go and save her, but she still runs away, and we encounter a huge metal monster. No, unfortunately, this is not a Big Daddy, but instead a handyman. A huge hunk of metal made from a person and trained to kill. He throws us over the edge, but luckily Elizabeth still has some heart and opens a tear to save us.
Hey, I'm slipping!
Do not attempt to follow me, Mr. DeWitt.
Elizabeth, I've made an arrangement to get our airship back.
You can get us out of here.
Yes, I just need to supply enough weapons to arm an entire uprising.
And where will we get these weapons? From one of our many friends and allies?
A gunsmith in Finkton should be a walk in the park. What do you say, partners?
You're a liar, Mr. DeWitt. And a thug. But you're also my only means of reaching Paris.
We persuade Elizabeth that we'll get her where she needs to go, and we head on. Unfortunately, the place we need to go is locked down, and we use Elizabeth's lockpicking skills to get in there, and we find an audio diary from Slate.
I hold in my hand the private journal of Comstock's wife. It puts the lie to this miracle child nonsense. She loved the child not. It seems the sainted lady would have preferred to let the seed of the prophet just dry out on the bedsheets.
We find out that Lady Comstock seems to have not wanted Elizabeth in the end. We need to head down an elevator to Finkton proper, the main part of the area.
Booker, it's Slate's locker. He must have worked here. This is my mother's diary. Why would Slate have it? My husband claims the child was created from whole cloth by divine will. I am a believer, but I am not a fool. His bastard shall not be raised under this roof. My mother, she had me locked in that tower.
Elizabeth.
I just want to get out of this city. Please.
Greetings. My name is Jeremiah Fink, and I want to share with you my personal creed. What is the most admirable creature on God's green earth? Why, it's the bee. Have you ever seen a bee on vacation? Have you ever seen a bee take a sick day? Well, my friends, the answer is no. So I say, be the bee. Be the bee.
Hello?
Mr. DeWitt?
Yes?
Hold for Mr. Fink, please.
What's going on?
DeWitt, Fink here. Listen, my boy, we've had our eye on you, and I can tell you right now that you are our top candidate. Top! Now, my associate, Mr. Flambeau, will help you with anything you need.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
He seems oddly pleased to make your acquaintance. Well, the man's got an ego.
Now, some say to me, Fink, why is it that we get paid in tokens that are only good at the company store? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be damned if I let any of you poor folk get robbed at some shady establishment. You see, the Fink Company store brings you Fink products at a price designed specifically for the Fink worker.
Jeremiah Fink seems to have taken a liking to us and seems to want to accommodate to our needs, but something seems a little off. Down in Finkton proper, we can see the different areas people are working in, and we can see workers bidding against each other to get different jobs. We also encounter a chair with familiar music coming from it.
Hear that? Music. It's coming from that tear.
I never heard that song before.
I don't suspect anyone's heard that song.
But we must focus on our goal to go to Chen Lin's gun shop to retrieve the weapons for the Vox. Upon entering, we can see that it is completely empty, with no one in sight. But we then hear crying coming from downstairs, and it's Chen's wife. She states that Chen is being held up in the Good Time Club by Fink. We enter and Fink reveals his true intentions, sending waves and waves of different styles of enemies, including basic soldiers, turrets, patriots, and even more crow and fire enemies. Below the stage is access to a secret set of holding cells. Now, remember I said I would get back to Slate? Well, we can actually see him here in one of the rooms, and he looks depressed and doesn't even acknowledge us. So maybe killing him would have been the best option after all. However, we then make it to Chen Lin's cell.
We're too late. God damn it.
This is what he meant.
Now we need to find someone else to make those guns.
No.
Dead is dead, Elizabeth.
Dead is dead.
What? Where the hell did...
I see heads.
And I see tails.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Why are you following us? Who sent you? Comstock? What do you want?
What do you see here, from this angle?
Dead.
Listen.
And that angle?
Alive.
Booker. Chen Lin.
The body's gone.
It was never here.
It's another Columbia.
A different Columbia.
The same coin.
A different perspective.
Heads.
Tails.
Dead.
Alive.
We have to go through to this other Columbia, but how?
It's like riding a bicycle.
One never really forgets.
One just needs the courage to climb aboard.
If we go into this tear, I don't think I'll be able to bring us back. Are you sure you're ready?
Okay, open it.
Look, there's no blood.
And no body.
It's another world, Booker. Another Columbia.
Something tells me one dead gunsmith ain't the only thing that's changed.
Chen Lin has been killed, and the two mysterious people appeared again, showing us that there is a tear to another version of this world, where he is still alive, and where we can gain the weapons back. We choose to open this tear to see the world change around us, and there is no going back. The cells are now more lively, there are Vox prisoners populating them. We also encounter previous enemies from the world, and they seem to be stuck in this almost state of pain, like they're not meant to be there. We enter the gun shop again, only to see that the machines have gone, and Chen is stuck in this state where since he's died in the previous world, the tear has affected him and he can't be fixed. But going downstairs to see Chen Lin's wife again, she is no longer praying to Buddha, but to Comstock, and, well, she's white, showing how different this world actually is. She states that the weapons have been seized and taken down to Shantytown, so we decide to head there.
You must think me some sort of freak. A girl who can bring dead men back to life. Whose only acquaintance is a giant bird creature. It must seem ridiculous.
You just got dealt a bad hand.
I am not going back to that tower no matter what happens.
They won't stop until they have you.
Why? What did I do to them?
You frighten them.
Good.
Shantytown is basically what it says on the tin. This is where all the workers are forced to go and live. It is dark and dingy, a massive contrast to how it was above. People on the streets struggling, they are seriously mistreated. But we do get quite a wholesome scene in one of the bar's basements.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky?
We also get the option to put in a tear to give food to more people. Now, I can't remember why, but in my playthrough, there's meant to be people that rush over to it, but For some reason, they despawned for me. We can also encounter children on the streets begging for food and such as well, which is quite sad. Now, making it into the police station, we can see another tear by the weapons that are currently locked up. Opening the tear now, and the guns are gone. So, that must mean they're back at the shop, right? Going back through the police station, everything is draped in red, and people are chanting Vox, Vox, Vox. But something is different. A revolution seems to have happened. Destruction seems to be everywhere, and multiple places in flames. But the most troubling of all is the poster stating that Booker is the martyr of the revolution, and we know nothing about it. It seems like Daisy idolizes us, now seeing from this speech of hers.
We're going to find Daisy Fitzroy.
And we're getting out of here on the First Lady. Let's go.
Booker DeWitt died for this day. It was he who spoke with one voice of the people. Now is the time to stand true to his cause. Now is the time for faith to fall. To the factory. Let the mighty be laid low. For the people. For Booker DeWitt and the true voice. We're going to the factory. And we're not just going to burn it down. Only way to be sure is to pull it up from the roof.
Going on, we can join the Vox soldiers as they start to raid Finkton, even taking out an airship. But it is when we encounter another elevator that Daisy starts to realize that we are back from the dead in her world.
Maylin? Mr. Lin? My God, I was so set on getting to Paris. I didn't really think that
You couldn't have known this would happen.
I had a role in this catastrophe. If you want to pretend that we're purely innocents in this, then that's your prerogative, but...
Hello? Fink?
I saw you die, Booker. Saw it with my own eyes.
Fitzroy. Listen, I got you your guns. I'm here for my airship.
But my Booker DeWitt died for the Vox Populi. You either an imposter or a ghost. My Booker DeWitt was a hero to the cause, a story to tell your children. You just complicate the narrative.
She is convinced we're fake, and now the Vox is against us. We finally meet Daisy face to face, and she shoots Fink right in front of us, while also taking hostage of a child. She sends her soldiers to us, but upon defeating them, we have no way to get to Daisy. However, Elizabeth spots a vent, and she says she can go in and unlock the door for us, so we distract Daisy.
Is this it? Is this your movement, Daisy?
This is what needs to be done. You see, the founders ain't nothing but weeds. Cut them down and they just grow back. If you want to get rid of the weed, you gotta pull it up from the root. It's the only way to be...
Elizabeth.
I guess it runs in the family.
Elizabeth. Whoa, hey, easy.
Now is a huge turning point for the story. Elizabeth has just murdered Daisy, and this is a huge development for her character, going from running away from death to end up causing death. She runs to the airship and she ends up locking herself away.
You just come out of there. I know how this feels.
Elizabeth.
This is all I had.
Listen,
How do you do it?
how do I do what?
Forget. How do you wash away the things that you've done?
You don't. Just learn to live with it.
So the moment of truth between us. New York or Paris? No, 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 no!
Shit. Come on, we gotta find a way to make this thing go faster.
It's gotta be some sort of throttle or accelerator.
Do you know what that looks like?
I don't know.
Help me find it! Elizabeth!
That's not it.
Certainly is.
Isn't.
Is.
Try again.
All
Hold
right,
on.
here you are.
Booker, you've gotta stop that.
That's the E.
No, that is certainly it.
No, it's not.
You play the whole song, he'll
Is.
come back.
Isn't.
Is.
Try again.
No, you try.
Fine.
Stop it! Stop
Fine.
it! You don't
Here
know
you
what
are.
you're doing!
Ha! There it is.
You've done it now. He's coming back. He's coming back.
The notes were correct.
The instrument was not.
One needs both to get his attention.
But if you know how to sing to him,
He will take you where you need to go.
Who are you?
we are where we are needed.
And needed where we are.
So Comstock uses these songs. Well, there others we can use? Something to keep the bird off our back?
Perhaps you should ask the maestro himself.
So where is he? Of course. Well, at least they left the piano.
Going forward, people are evacuating, collecting every single one of their belongings in hope of finding a new place. You see, we're now in a world where both Vox and Comstock are against us. We have enemies on both sides. But now we need to make it to Comstock House in hopes of finding him and ending it all. But we have an interesting experience on the gondola.
It's done. I just realized who those two are. They, well, at least she, invented the technology that allows the city to float.
Giant balloons.
Quantum particles, suspended in space-time at a fixed height.
So, not giant balloons?
But the thing is, my book said they disappeared several years ago.
I told you they'd come.
No, you didn't.
Right. I was going to tell you they'd come.
But you didn't.
But I don't.
You sure that's right?
Something tells me they're not exactly what they appear.
I was going to have told you they'd come.
No,
The subjunctive?
that's not subjunctive.
I don't think the syntax has been invented yet.
It would have had to have it been.
Had to have had been. That can't be right.
They seem to want to help.
They seem to be out of their
Odd,
minds.
isn't it?
What's odd?
The fact that we sometimes...
Finish each other's sentences?
Exactly.
It would be odder if we didn't.
How do you suppose they manage that?
I'll get back to you after I figure out the floating city bit.
You see, the two mysterious individuals are the Lutece twins, the ones who invented and created the mechanisms and science around Columbia. They play a very important role, and we'll see why in a bit. We eventually make it to another elevator taking us to town, leading to Comstock House. However, we have a close encounter with the songbird.
Can you open this?
It's a simple dual dial lock. My book said most fools keep the combination no more than 20 feet away.
Let's hope we find one of those fools. This might be it. Why are you so keen on lockpicking and code breaking?
If you put a person in a cage, they develop an interest in such things.
I suppose so.
And I won't be locked up again.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you...
Promise me.
I will stop him.
That is an oath you cannot keep. But promise me that if it comes to it, you will not let him take me back.
It won't come to that. All right?
Now, we're in downtown Emporia, the area before our final destination. We encounter another tear containing a very familiar song. And now, there is one thing standing in our way, a huge gate and a hand scanner.
Lady Comstock, how lovely to see you. Wonderful of you to make the journey, especially considering your painful death 19 years ago.
Lady Comstock?
The dress. The thing has mistaken me for my mother.
Your fingerprints do not seem to be your own today, Lady Comstock. Are you unwell?
This isn't going to work.
I think it can.
Your mother's dead, Elizabeth.
Yes. I think it's time I paid my respects. Let's head to where she's buried.
You see, the scanner mistakes us for Lady Comstock because of Elizabeth's dress. However, her hand doesn't match. The plan is now to go and retrieve her hand from the memorial.
Do it now.
On it.
It's your mother's grave.
They have her preserved in an airtight chamber. Her fingerprints will get us into Comstock House.
She's your
A
mother.
mother who abandons their child doesn't draw a lot of sympathy in my book.
Take a moment to think about what you're doing.
There. Will you open the door or do I have to go in without you?
Elizabeth.
It's her. How are you, Mother? All locked up in there, huh? Looks like you and I have some common ground.
Let me do it.
No.
Let me do it.
You see, child, you chose to follow a false shepherd, and he has led you astray. What I do for love. What lion does not cringe to see their cub in pain, but spare the rod, spoil the child. If you won't listen to me, perhaps you will listen to your mother.
Elizabeth, are you all right?
No, but where did she go?
Hold on, you need to rest for a minute.
No, I'm getting that hand.
Elizabeth, why is your mother a ghost?
She's not. He used me to power that device. He opened up some kind of tear.
You see, Comstock utilized the device to siphon power from Elizabeth to open a tear, creating this almost ghost-like figure of Lady Comstock, and she is angry. After the first fight, we again encounter the Lutece twins, and they tell us we have to find 3 tears across the area.
What is she?
I don't know. What am I? Oh my God. Is she the source of my power?
But what is she? Alive or dead?
Why do you ask what?
And the delicious question is when.
The only difference between past and present
Is semantics.
lives, lived, will live.
Dies, died, will die.
If we could perceive time as it truly was,
What reason would grammar professors have to get out of bed?
like us all, Lady Comstock exists across time.
She's both alive and dead.
She perceives being both.
She finds this condition disagreeable.
Perception without comprehension.
Is a dangerous combination.
Look! Footsteps.
She goes to unfinished business.
We have to follow her. Convince her to open the gate to Comstock House.
It's a shame you have need of her to enter Comstock House.
Frankly, she doesn't seem all that cooperative.
There is a way to bring her to reason.
3 truths you must discover first.
Truths which, in this world, Comstock has destroyed.
If only one of you had the power to alter time and space.
That would be a blessing, wouldn't it?
They're sarcastic.
There's something off about Lady Comstock.
Yeah, I noticed.
No, you don't understand. She doesn't belong here. I brought something through. I'm just not so sure it was her.
Luckily, Lady Comstock's ghost leaves a trail of footprints that we can follow. The first tear we get to takes us to the Lutece lab, and we find out some very interesting stuff.
Comstock has sabotaged our contraption. Yet, we are not dead. A theory. We are scattered amongst the possibility space. But my brother and I are together, and so I'm content. He is not. The business with the girl lies unresolved. But perhaps there is one who can finish it in our stead. Comstock seems to have been made sterile by simple exposure to our contraption. A theory. Just as sexual reproduction can de-emphasize the traits of each parent, so goes the effect of multiple realities on our own. Your traits dissipate until they become unrecognizable or cease to exist.
I assure you, madam, my sexual interest in your dear prophet is non-existent.
And Madame Lutece.
Furthermore, the man is quite sterile. It's a lie. Come and get me, little bastard! I want her out of my house!
Sterile.
They weren't my parents.
Then what were you to them?
A child that they decided to imprison. She deserves whatever Comstock did to her.
Beloved prophet. I told the poor woman the truth.
What did you mean before when you said Lady Comstock didn't belong here?
She's almost feral. It's like she's a reflection of... I don't know.
Lady Comstock seems to believe the child is a result of some errant act of carnality between myself and her beloved prophet. I told the poor woman the truth, that the child was a product of our little contraption, but I think she found that less believable than her delusion.
From this tear and the diaries, we can see that Elizabeth was never Comstock's child, but she was taken from another version of Columbia. This is why Lady Comstock believes that Comstock cheated on her, as she never had the child. The next tear takes us down into the bank, where it looks like a sabotage is being prepared, involving Fink. It looks like that the Lutece twins may be murdered.
And if I do this sabotage, all their patents, all of them, Mr. Fink. Now, why does the prophet want these two killed?
For the same reason Lady Comstock lies buried.
The child. And why does he want me to do it?
Because only you can make it seem an accident.
I don't think that's the real Lady Comstock. I think she's a combination of herself and my feelings towards her.
What do you mean?
I'm just so angry. At her and at my father. I think she's her, but she's also partly me. I'm not even sure I understand.
And the final tear is placed inside of a photographer's shop, where they encounter the Lutece twins.
But you two are dead. I took your funeral photo.
Yes, and made an absolute hash of it.
One doesn't expect a picture of one's corpse
To come across so lifelessly.
That's insanity. What proof would you have that Mr. Fink would hurt the Luteces?
The Luteces told me.
The Luteces? When?
Yesterday. Yesterday morning.
Rupert! They've been dead these 7 days.
From that, we can see that, to the public, the twins are dead. But because of the tears, they're able to exist throughout these worlds, as like we've done travelling through multiple ourselves. We've seen all the tears that Lady Comstock wants us to see, and we're back at the gate for the final fight. After a bit, Elizabeth is able to talk to her and calm her down.
I owe you an apology. Comstock used me to bring you back, but I brought back a version of you from the reality that I had built up in my own head. He pretended to love you, like he pretended to love me. Bastard child! I am not your husband's bastard. I am his victim. My days of victimhood are done. We must forgive each other. Because there is one far worse than you, Rob.
The Prophet killed me.
Because you wouldn't keep his secret.
If that's so, then why am I alive?
Not in this world. Maybe this is you in another. World where you never meet him.
Where I saved him.
I don't know. Is that possible?
Find out, child. Find out.
Thank you.
She listens to Elizabeth and blasts through the gate, leading to the house. We can now enter, but another encounter is ahead of us.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the dead. Take me back. Take me home. Please.
After being thrown into the wall, Booker has a flashback. Now, recall back to the very beginning. We're back in Booker's office. However, this time the Lutece twins are there, and they are repeating the words "bring us the girl" and "wipe away the debt." But Elizabeth is also there, repeating those same words, and we enter another door instead. This is very important. After waking, Elizabeth tells Songbird that she wants to go back so that Booker will be kept alive. We manage to wake up and we make our way down onto the bridge leading to Comstock House. It is incredibly stormy, but then it suddenly turns into a snowstorm, just out of nowhere. However, we can see multiple tears ahead of us.
Get your hands off of me! Just take me back to my tower. Please, please.
When entering, we see a statue of Elizabeth stating, "Our Lady Elizabeth, Godspeed thy judgment." It looks like Elizabeth is now the leader of Columbia, but how on earth did it happen so fast?
We were given Eden, and we turned it into Sodom. Why do we deserve salvation? The Lord gave Noah a fish in the form of a flood, but he was not so easy on me. He said, "Prophet,
What is this place? What are you planning to do to me?"
of fishermen."
The next room contains people in masks which seem to be suffering like the ones from the tears, and we can see a new enemy, a boy of silence. These are boys fitted with helmet enhancing their sight to keep watch throughout Comstock House. We'll encounter them a lot, and when alerted, they're able to disappear and summon the masked enemies around us to fight against us. In my opinion, they are definitely one of the most terrifying enemies that we encounter. However, we are now blocked by a door stating that we need to go to the warden's office to gain access and open it. We take the elevator, finding a tear and an audio diary.
Just send me back to my tower.
It's too late for that now, child. Your father gave you a lovely home, and you chose to destroy it.
He's not my father.
I suppose the siphon is a kind of leash. Yes, my father put it on me. But when the time came, neither did I remove it myself. What would happen if I took off the leash, and I found I was as obedient as ever?
We then move on to what looks like an operating theatre and a body incinerator. We then find another diary and another tear.
Our minds are born festering with sin. Some are so blighted they will never find redemption. The mind must be pulled up from the roots. My children are without blame, without fault, and without choice. For what is the value of will when the spirit is found wanting?
Child, would you like to pray with me?
You're hurting me. Please just let me go.
We're going to cure you.
I'm not sick.
Your spirit is. All I ever wanted is to see you live up to your potential.
After an encounter with a boy, we find a tear of the doctors talking, potentially saying to kill Elizabeth.
I'm Dr. Pettifog, Elizabeth, and I'll be taking care of you.
Get away from me.
Defiant, even after all this time. DeWitt just left you here. You need to give up on him, love.
He will come.
The specimen needs to be destroyed. We couldn't even hold her in that tower, and now the prophet...
Destroy the lamb? His heir?
If we modify the procedure, we could... It would be safer for everyone. It would seem an accident.
And then two tears, one of Elizabeth and one featuring Comstock.
You're not eating, love. Is something the matter?
I'm not hungry.
You'll need to eat sooner or later. If you hold out for DeWitt, you'll just starve to death. Come now.
The child is ready. It's time.
Prophet, Even if we cure her, why do you think she'll do what you ask?
My daughter has two problems, Doctor. One is the condition your science will cure her of. The other affliction is of a spiritual nature.
What affliction is that?
Hope.
You can see that Elizabeth's motivation for us to arrive is getting lower and lower. Comstock is also holding out for Elizabeth. We enter a very creepy room containing mannequin heads of the Patriots. There is quite a concerning tear at the end, however.
Your surgery is tomorrow, you know. You better eat. Oh, you still expect DeWitt to burst in and rescue you, don't you? It's been 6 months.
6 months?
It's already been 6 months. There's no way we could have been walking around the house for 6 months. But we also find a video of Elizabeth talking.
A man once promised me that he would free me of my chains. But in the end, he abandoned me to serve his own needs. But in some ways, I thank him. He showed me exactly how much faith our species deserved. God put his faith in men once too. It seems that we have something in common. Disappointment. I did not always love the prophet. In truth, I ran from his embrace. I even denied that I was his. I followed a man who seemed to be everything my father was not. That man was a false shepherd. And when the wolves came for me, he was nowhere to be found.
It seems as though Elizabeth has now given up hope with Booker and fallen to follow Comstock instead. We act fast and get to the warden's office, where we find another diary from Elizabeth.
As the days pass, I believe less in God and more in Lutece. My powers shrivel as my regrets blossom. All of this because my father failed me. By the time I realized how far I'd gone, it was too late to stop it. But there is still one last chance at redemption for both of us. What I've done cannot be undone. I cannot stop what I have put in motion. But perhaps I can keep it from ever starting. He was my first hope. And now, he is my last.
We pull the lever, opening the door. Turning around is a boy sending enemies towards us. They're no match for us, and we head down to the elevator, listening to one last diary.
Sometimes, the mind gets in the way. Tomorrow the leash comes off, because all of this has to end. But even if I destroy the siphon, will I be strong enough to see all the doors and open whichever I choose? And if I bring him here, who is to say that he would be any match for the monsters I have created?
We head through the door and find the Lutece twins and someone else.
It's a tear. What is it?
Why do you ask what? When the delicious question is when. Lives, lived, will live. Dies, died, will die.
As you can see, Booker, the lunatics are running the asylum. They don't even listen to me anymore. All I can do is watch as what I set into motion slides into its terminal stage. It took all I had left in me just to bring you here.
Elizabeth, I don't understand. I heard you screaming. I was coming to get you. Are we...
Here. Take my hand. The seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. Say what you will about Comstock. He was a hell of a fortune teller. Wasn't the torture that broke me. Wasn't the indoctrination. It was time. Time rots everything, Booker. Even hope.
I was coming.
Songbird. He always stops you.
Yes, but I would find a way.
No. It's too late for me. I brought you here for your sake. Yours and hers. Here.
What is this?
It's for her. She'll know how to read it.
What does it say?
It's advice.
Advice on what?
How not to become me.
So there's quite a bit to look at in this scene. So when crossing Comstock Bridge, it seems like we went through a tear, taking us to a timeline further forward where Booker never came for her, and she was forced to take the place of Comstock, had led her to believe that the surface was evil, and therefore when speaking to her, we can see the destruction of New York. There's also a callback to the very beginning, where remember Booker sees the destruction before waking up. Could that mean we've been through many timelines already? We take a note from Elizabeth and she transports us to safety. We run to find Elizabeth trapped and being experimented on. We see Comstock observing, and now it's our job to switch off the siphon, stopping Elizabeth from using her powers. We successfully switch off the siphon and Elizabeth creates a tear, killing the doctors.
Elizabeth, I'll be right there! I got you, it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna fix this. You ready?
Just do it.
Here.
Help me with this.
I think someone meant for you to have this.
What is it?
Just read it.
Your dream of New York happens. It's me. I'm the one who...
She's given us a way to get past Songbird. We're gonna find an airship and we'll leave Paris, Elizabeth. Remember, you wanted to go
We're
to...
not leaving. We are going to find Comstock.
Why?
You saw what he turns me into. I will not allow that.
And so what, you're going to kill him?
This is where you start moralizing, Booker. You forget. I know you.
I'm not going to let you kill him.
Really? Booker? What are you going to do to stop me?
Not a damn thing. Because I'm gonna do it for you.
We now need to locate Comstock in his airship. Columbia is in ruins as soon as we leave the building. Utter chaos is unfolding. Comstock's soldiers and the Vox are still fighting and looking out for us. there is no hope for saving this city. Comstock is actively sending down a number of patriots and soldiers in an attempt to stop us. We have managed to board one of the small barges which heads up, and this is where we get a very important line.
Knowing it shall all
Do
end
you
in
think
tears.
it's possible to redeem the kind of things that we've done?
Redeem? I don't see much use in that.
Booker, are you afraid of God?
No. But I'm afraid of you.
Now, you have to recall all the way to the very beginning where we actually hear this line.
Booker, are you afraid of God?
No. But I'm afraid of you.
Going through this so many times, I didn't realize until very recently that the line was actually said here. The fact that they chose to place it here really emphasizes how much has gone throughout this journey. Nothing is shocking. We've been through so much. The fact that we started in a church getting baptized under the name of God, but now Elizabeth asks, "Are you afraid of God?" And Booker states he's more afraid of her, comparing Elizabeth to a god, but even more powerful. To me, through everything we've gone through so far, this overpowers and tops God. We've gone through multiple timelines and encountered some crazy stuff. And going back to the placement of this line, the fact that it feels so insignificant, now you can see the changes we've been through, but it's not the end yet. Heading up, Comstock sends more men to fight us, but so do the Vox. Caught in the crossfire, we fight them, all traversing between multiple ships, and we finally arrive at the airship. We have to get up to the top deck, however. The Patriot pods are blocking the skyline though. So while they're dropping, we have to of course fight against multiple soldiers and the Vox, but we finally make it to where Comstock resides.
This is my tower. What's this? A siphon.
I saw this there. I could hear you singing from above. And the machine came to life in response.
And then in my mother's grave, there was a smaller one. They were draining me. Maybe that's why I can't.
Can't what?
When I was little, I used to be able not just to open tears, but I could create new ones. To anywhere I wanted to go. But in the tower...
Yes, I'll be right with you.
Stand back. I'm ending this.
Booker, no. This is between me and him.
You are walking into a trap.
I need to do this.
Come here, child. Oh, come on, I don't bite. My, oh my, how you have grown.
Tell me, what am I?
Look at you, child. You're
Hey,
a mess.
let go of her.
Elizabeth, everything I've done to keep you safe.
Safe from what?
Seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. But the archangel revealed something else. Beware, prophet. Beware the false shepherd, Booker DeWitt, for he shall be as a wall between her and destiny.
Why?
DeWitt, I'm a fool. I've sent mighty armies to stop you. I've rained fire on you from above. I did all of that to keep you from her, when all I needed was to tell her the truth. Ask him, child. Ask him what happened to your finger. Ask DeWitt.
Let go of me.
Ask him. Ask the fault.
She's your daughter, you son of a bitch! And you abandoned her! Was it worth it? Huh? Did you get what you wanted?
Booker.
Tell me!
Booker.
Tell me!
It is finished.
Nothing is finished!
Booker.
You locked her up for her whole life!
Booker.
You cut off her finger, and you put it on me!
Booker, stop it! You killed him. What did he mean? Huh? You tell me, what did he mean about my finger?
I don't know. I just assumed you were born with it. I don't know.
Your nose.
It's bleeding.
What? Elizabeth, I swear to you, I have no idea what he was talking about.
You too. You just can't remember it.
No. I'll prove it to you. We'll destroy the siphon. The answer's behind one of your doors. You just have to open it.
Destroy the siphon? It's the entire tower, Booker. How are we gonna do that?
I don't know. I'll think of something on the way.
So, Comstock is now dead, and it's our job to go and destroy the siphon holding back Elizabeth's power. We head up to the ship controls where the Vox is now attempting to take over the airship. However, Elizabeth has a shocking discovery.
Kate, I'm missing something.
They said they knew what was best for us.
Booker?
They said they knew what was coming next.
Booker!
Did you see this coming, old man?
Okay, we gotta get
see this coming,
they mean to board us.
You ain't gonna place your daughter on the throne. We're gonna place her in her grave.
What are you doing?
We have to sing to him!
Sing to who? Elizabeth, stop it!
C-A-G-E! It's not a word, Booker! It's a song! Shh, it's okay. I'm here. Will you help me? I need you to protect me. Will you do it? Will you do this for me? Just this one last thing. Please. Go! Booker, he'll help us. We can use him against the Vox fleet.
With this newfound discovery, we can now control Songbird. This whole time, the references to the bird in the cage were right there from the beginning. We were just never able to create that link together. It was hidden in plain sight, and only until now Elizabeth was able to clock it and understand what it all meant. This gives us a huge advantage going forward. The Vox are attacking the ship's core, attempting to take it down. We fight against them all, using the bird to stop the Vox's airships too, and it's finally done. We make it to the tower, and we destroy the siphon, stopping Elizabeth's power from being restricted.
What? What is it?
Look, you can use the songbird to bring the whole damn thing down. Destroy the siphon.
And that's what you want?
It's the only way we'll find the truth. About my finger, Comstock, everything.
Tear it down. Tear it all down.
Whistler! Elizabeth! The bird, Elizabeth! I lost control! He's coming!
No, he isn't.
Where is he? Where is he?
It's okay. It's all right. I'm here. Just let go. There you go. There you go.
Elizabeth, I'm sorry. What is this place? Elizabeth?
It's a doorway. One of many. This way.
What do you mean it's a doorway? Where are you going?
Oh, come on. Yes, it's this way.
What Comstock said about your finger. Is there an answer here? Do you...
Down here. This is where we have to go.
Why? What is going on? Elizabeth, what do you mean this is a doorway?
I'll have to show you.
Probably gonna regret this. City at the bottom of the ocean. Ridiculous.
Look at that. Thousands of doors. Opening all at once. My God, they're beautiful.
The stars?
Come on. Come on, it's this way. Come on.
Are you going to open it?
It's no good. Damn it. I thought once we were here, I could fully control it. I thought...
What is that?
It's a key.
Where did it come from?
It's always been there. I just couldn't see it. See? Not stars. They're doors.
Doors to...
To everywhere. All that's left is the choosing.
What are all these lighthouses? Why are we... Who are...
There are a million worlds. All different, all similar. Constants and variables.
What?
There's always a lighthouse. There's always a man. There's always a city.
How do you know this?
I can see them through the doors. You, me, Columbia, Songbird. But sometimes, something's different. Yet the same.
Constants and variables.
Yes. Look.
It's us.
Not exactly. We swim in different oceans but land on the same shore. It always starts with a lighthouse.
I don't understand.
We don't need to. It'll happen all the same.
Why?
Because it does. Because it has. Because it will.
There's so many choices.
They all lead us to the same place. Where it started.
No one tells me where to go.
Booker. We've already been.
Wait a minute. I know this place. I was here. Must have been 20 years ago, right after Wounded Knee. I was looking for...
Come on now, time's a-wasting.
Why were you here?
Are you ready to have your past erased? Are you ready to have your sins cleansed? Are you ready to be born again? Take my hand.
No. No, I don't want to.
You already did, didn't you?
Are you ready to be born again?
I am.
Do you hate your sins?
I do.
Do you hate your wickedness?
Yes.
Do you want to clean the slate, leave behind all you were before, and be born again in the blood of the Lamb? Jesus, wash this man clean.
Wait.
Father, Make him
Stop
born
it.
again, Lord.
Stop it!
What are you doing to it?
Get off me! Get off!
Son!
You didn't go through with
You
it.
think a dunk in the river's gonna change the things I've done? Let's get out of here. Hey, these doors of yours, they're all tears, right? Well, open one up. Open one up to Paris. I want to be shut of all this.
Not until we find Comstock.
Comstock's dead!
No. He was here. This way.
And what of my debts?
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
This is the man who hired me to find you.
Really?
Yes. The girl for the debt. Wait, no, this is wrong. What is this? There was no baby. I remember. No, there was no baby, and if there was, I sure as hell wouldn't give it over to this guy.
Booker, you don't leave this room until you do.
DeWitt, time is running short. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
Go ahead.
No.
You can wait as long as you want. Eventually, you'll give him what he wants.
How do you know all this?
I can see all the doors, and what's behind all the doors. And behind one of them, I see him.
Comstock. What choice do I have?
The debt's paid. Mr. Comstock washes you of all your sins.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
There was no baby. The deal was I go to Columbia to get you.
Booker, you're bleeding.
Oh. I remember. What I remember.
Now we've upset him.
I don't expect this next bit will do much for his mood.
Come on.
What are we doing here? Comstock's dead. We can just go on with our lives. You don't need
Dead? You mean like Chen Lin? Like Lady Comstock? No. He is alive in a million worlds. It's not over because the Prophet is dead. It will only be over when he never even lived in the first place.
Hey! Hey, the deal's off, you hear me?
Unstable.
The deal is off! Give her back!
Hurry!
Give her back!
Fine, are you mad?
Give her back, you son of a bitch!
It's ready! Go!
No! No!
Shut down the machine!
No!
Shut it down! Shut down the machine! Now do it!
Give me back my daughter! No! Anna. No. No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anna, I'm sorry.
She's gone, Booker. Anna's gone. You shared this room with your regret for almost 20 years. Until one day, a man came to you and offered you a chance at redemption. A chance for us to burn together.
I told you it would work.
We already know it works. The question is, will he?
Anna. So sorry, Anna.
Do you suppose he branded himself as some sort of penance?
Should've.
Don't see the point. What's done is done. What's done will be done. I suppose the brand is his hair shirt, as he is ours.
Wipe away the debt. Bring us the girl. Wipe away the debt.
See? He's starting to put his story together.
Wipe away
You're quite fond of this theory of yours.
He's manufacturing new memories from his old ones.
Well, the brain adapts.
I should know. I lived it.
Booker, wake up. Booker, wake up. This is where it started.
I saw you. I saw you.
To your credit, you did try to weasel out of the deal.
This is all Comstock's fault. What if I went back? Killed him before he did any of this?
Things get set in motion.
How would one know how far back to go?
That's the only way to do it. Go back to when he was born, and I'll smother this son of a bitch in his crib.
Are you sure this is what you want?
I have to. It's the only way to undo what I've done to you.
Booker DeWitt, are you ready to be born again?
Why are we back here?
This isn't the same place, Booker.
Of course it is. I remember.
Are you ready to leave behind all
You're
that
not-
has gone before? Wipe the slate clean.
Who are you?
You chose to walk away, but in other oceans, you didn't. You took the baptism. You were born again as a different man. It all has to end. To have never started, not just in this world, but in all of ours.
Smother him in the crib.
Smother, 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 smother. Before the choice is made, before you are reborn.
What name shall you take, my son?
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
No. I'm both.
And there you have it. Booker and Comstock have both reached the end of their story. Your brain is either really confused now or you somehow get it, but let's take a dive into what this ending actually means for our characters. You see, throughout the game, we open many tears, taking things or going to different timelines. This is Elizabeth's power, of course, and it's been held back ever since by Comstock by the use of the siphon. We start the game playing as Booker, who is sent to get Elizabeth. However, it is now discovered that Comstock got Anna DeWitt, Booker's daughter, and took her. So why would he do this? You see, in the final baptism scene, we are taken to where Booker says he was after Wounded Knee, a battle that Slate talks about, and this explains a lot in a bit. At this situation, in different timeline, Booker either chooses to go through with the baptism or turns himself away, therefore either creating Comstock or creating Booker. This then leads on to why Slate was angry at Comstock, as to him, Comstock was never there because he was always Booker. Now, going back to when we were searching for the tears left by Lady Comstock, we can hear Rosalind Lutece state that in one, that Comstock is completely sterile. Therefore, he was never able to give Lady Comstock a child. Comstock then decides to use the Lutece device to be able to go back and therefore take a version of Elizabeth/Anna from Booker. And then in this Booker that we're playing, as he gives Anna to Robert Lutece, only to regret it later, and we can see them take her and also cutting off part of her pinky finger. However, now this is the bit that I'm quite unsure about. so please correct me if I'm wrong. The Lutez twins feel guilty about taking Anna away from Booker, and therefore try to reach him through the tear, bringing him through. However, it knocks him unconscious, and as you can see, he starts repeating to himself, Anna, and bring us the girl, wipe away the debt. You see, the Lutez twins never told Booker explicitly to bring the girl and wipe away the debt. It was something he made to himself, and they went along with it to help Booker fulfill it and get them together again. Now, one more thing to go back on before we reach the end. You see, in Comstock's first death scene, Booker suddenly questions Comstock about Elizabeth's finger, showing that some memories are starting to come back. However, Booker's nose starts to bleed when Elizabeth speaks about it. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen his nose bleed. We saw it in Booker's first encounter with Comstock, and when he went through the tear after finding Chen Lin. This was a sign from the very beginning that this Booker is not from this timeline. So even when we go through that first tear, the enemies that are suffering, you can see that their nose is bleeding just like Booker's is. So now at the end, Elizabeth takes Booker through multiple different lighthouses, or even doors as you can call them now, all leading to a man, a lighthouse, and a city, relating back to Rapture with Andrew Ryan, and of course Columbia with Comstock. Elizabeth takes us through a door showing multiple versions of us going through the exact same thing we're doing, but it's only Booker's. You see, in the final scene when we are drowned by Elizabeth, there is a reason. The Booker we've drowned is the one who accepted baptism, leading to the creation of Comstock. Therefore, now the Bookers that are left are the only ones who are safe and sound with Anna. Take a look at this final scene.
Anna?
Is that you?
That bit always makes me so happy that Booker is finally reunited with his child forever. Now, I know that seems like it's a load to take in, but seeing that ending for the very first time and still today gives me chills. To me, they executed it really well. The fact that it ties into going into multiple timelines to try and fix a problem just shows that nothing really has an effect on it at all. Even from the beginning, where the Lutezes ask you to flip a coin, it's always one-sided. Choosing the bird or the cage for Elizabeth doesn't matter. And what happens at the fair doesn't matter. The couple will still be freed either way. Your choices don't matter, and that's the biggest thing you'll find throughout this story. It either works for you, or it doesn't. That's just my thoughts. Now, compared to the previous games, of course, this feels so much better. You're faster, and everything just feels smoother and more refined. However, one of the biggest things you'll notice is the guns and the vigors. Of course, starting with the main stuff, the guns. To start off, the first thing you'll realize is that you can only hold 2 guns at a time. Now, some people may like this or may not like this, but I didn't really mind. Instead of having your whole roster available to you, you are now required to look for guns while fighting to either replenish your current ammo or switch to a gun you prefer. To me, especially in the higher difficulties, you would struggle to find a lot of ammo, especially if you choose to do the achievement where you're not allowed to use any vending machines in the hardest difficulty. But starting off, there is a lot. Now, of course, when progressing through the game, more gun options open up to you, but it is done at a right pace, I feel, and there are chances that you may not even interact with every single gun in the game. I think that makes it a lot more fun, especially if you want to go back and replay the game. To be honest, I don't even think I've used every gun. Usually my go-to is literally just the starter pistol and the carbine, which you can find in the Hall of Heroes. But then there's also the starter machine gun as well if I ever run out of ammo. I really don't like changing up the stuff I am used to, but it makes for a fun mechanic if you like a lot more variety. Of course, when I say starter, these weapons are upgraded throughout the game, like in the first 2 games where you can find weapon upgrade machines, but these ones you can use multiple times. It's almost like a vending machine instead. You have to pay for these ones, and these machines will last forever, so you can always go back and upgrade whenever you please. Now, these upgrades are pretty much the same, such as increased damage, less recoil, and all that kind of stuff. Now, there are two kinds of sets of weapons which you'll find across Columbia. There's the more refined set from Comstock Soldiers, which has the pistol, machine gun, carbine, etc., more military style weapons, and then you eventually gain access to the Vox style weapons, and these are a little more makeshift and destructive, such as the rocket launcher and the crank gun, for example. Overall, I really like the weapon lineup in this game, and there's a load to choose from, giving players the option to choose what really suits their style. Next, we go on to the Vigors. These are almost the same as the Plasmids, but they're a bit more refined. Starting off with the main one that you get, and that's Possession. This is the Vigor that allows you to possess enemies to fight for you. This is mostly useful on turrets, but I didn't really use them. Another feature of Possession is that it almost now acts as the vending machine hack. Instead of going into a hacking minigame, if you use Possession on a vending machine, it will spit out a number of coins while also lowering the prices, and this is a permanent thing for the vending machine that you threw it onto. So if you return to it, it will still be possessed, and I kind of like this and I kind of don't. You know, the hacking minigames added something else to do while exploring Rapture, however on the other hand, it kind of felt long, and through all of it, this is just a much quicker way of doing it. The only problem is that it uses up your salts. The next one is my favourite. Just like Incinerate, we have Devil's Kiss. However, this works a little differently, but I like it. Instead of just shooting fire at a single person, this throws a projectile, allowing you to hit multiple people instead. And if you hold the Vigor down, you can set traps, which I'm pretty sure you could do with Incinerate as well. We then have Murder of Crows, which I also used a lot. This shoots, well, a murder of crows towards the enemy, stunning them and damaging them at the same time. This was very useful when fighting large crowds and having less enemies shooting on you. There's also an upgrade which allows the crows to move on to different enemies as well once they've killed the first one that you shot at, which is very, very useful. Next is Shock Jockey. Now, similar to Electro Bolt in Bioshock 1 and 2, you can shoot enemies with electricity. In addition to that, you can also use it as a tool similar to opening doors. Here in the game, we use it to power the gondola. You can also, similar to with Incinerate, set traps, which can be shown here demonstrated by Slate. And this proved to be quite useful sometimes, but again, I only really stuck to my main two plasmids. Bucking Bronco is an X which levitates your enemy in the air, meaning they can't attack. However, I didn't really use this one. We then have Charge, which allows you to ram into enemies. Again, I didn't really use it since I preferred to stay away from the enemy rather than get up super close. Undertow was super useful near the end of the game, and this is where it shoots water at the enemies, so this was great for pushing them off the airship, creating a much easier fight. And then last of all is Return to Sender, and this creates a temporary shield to block any bullets coming towards you. However, I never really used it because it was just easier to fight straight out. You know, overall, I love the switch up of how the Vigors work in this game compared to the Plasmids. These open up a load of combat abilities, and even after playing so many times, I feel like I haven't really used them all to their full extent because there's loads to do. I feel like in the previous games, Plasmids were mostly used as tools, for example, when opening doors and hacking, but here we kind of do have that at the very beginning with the ticket machine and then with Shock Jockey, but aside from that, it is rarely used in the game afterwards. I think they did mostly want to focus on combat, which I don't mind since there are of course way more enemies. When it comes to combat in this game, there are so many options that you can go down, from restricting your gun use to 2 at a time, and then a huge amount of possibilities with your plasmids. There should be something that fits with everyone, and it's so hugely improved. Aside from the combat, there is quite a bit of exploration. Since this is a semi-open world game, slightly bigger than the first two, there's now, from the very beginning, you can go to multiple shops and different areas, finding multiple diaries and other upgrades. One of the best parts, I think, is in Soldier's Field, for example. Starting off with Battleship Bay and then the main shopping area really gives you a cool insight into how a lot of people live around the area. In terms of collectibles, it really is just the audio diaries, but throughout the game, there are some places that you can come across where you either find a key or a code book to unlock a place to get upgrades, which is pretty cool. It gives you the option to return to different places if you really want to. But being able to go around Columbia is really cool. You get to see every little detail that makes up this world, and this is where we go on to the design of the game. Out of all three of the games, Infinite pushes the boundaries, creating a whole new different style compared to the first two. Looking at the other games, they have a very dark, metallic and of course Art Deco look to them, and that's what you think you're going to get when you first open Infinite, but going through the whole game, it surprises you with a number of different places, starting off bringing back almost the dark aesthetic to it. It's dark, rainy, and you're going out to sea to a lighthouse. It's all gloomy, but as soon as you get to Columbia, it changes completely. We actually get to see sunlight. Now, this may not seem like a big thing, but if you think about it, with the first two games, we were underwater the whole time, and you'd only ever see the sun at the very end. Granted, you got the good ending. Seeing sunlight from the very beginning gives us a little bit of hope, but it also ties into the effect of Columbia too. The whole place is driven by God and Comstock message promising freedom and hope, and this light really brings it in. It makes you feel safe around the area. You're not constantly feeling on edge. There are people about everywhere going about their day, which is something we couldn't see in the other games. It really welcomes you in, kind of. All, of course, until the fights actually start. But you're probably thinking, in most of the scenes, it's a sunny, right? Yeah, it is. And to me, it ties into how Columbia is slowly losing its message and revealing its true self. Right up to the tower, and even for a bit after in Battleship Bay, sunlight is shown everywhere. No one is in a panic yet, until the tower has been destroyed, and that's when we start to see the panic everywhere. After that section, we go into the Hall of Heroes and Soldiers Bay, and it starts to go a little dark. There's still people in the shops and stuff, but there is one tiny detail. You can see that one of the people that's dressed as one of the mascots is just sitting off to the side. And it may be a stretch, but that's kind of a hint that the magic of Columbia is not actually there. After that, we almost see some hope again. When we end up in Finkton, we are in trouble at that point with Elizabeth gone and the Vox wanting us to get their supplies. But the design of Finkton is a false disguise. We've seen the bright environments to show happiness and hope, but as we know, no one is happy there. The music in the background constantly going on, and clearly the workers are having a hard time.
Doesn't strike me as good news.
From fake manufacturing to Shantytown. Starting bid. 20 minutes. 15 minutes.
It's not all as it seems, and then going into Shantytown reveals all. It is dark, dingy, and all destroyed, and this perfectly shows the worst of Columbia so far. Above everything is so nice and lovely, but the depths is what really is going on. The bright lights from Fink and the posters everywhere plastered on everything. It just shows how forceful they are on the minorities. We're slowly uncovering the horrors that Columbia has to hold, and now it's time to touch on one of the most prominent structures in the game, and that is Comstock House. When we first see the house in full across the bridge, there are three huge faces looking down onto Columbia, and this really emphasizes the power and is almost quite intimidating to the citizens below, showing Comstock is someone you shouldn't mess with. Upon entering the house, we are greeted with quite a gloomy interior, split into multiple sectors. Every part is labelled with the jade green signs, but it's not like a bright inviting sign, it's more like an abandoned hospital, which is what the house turns out to be. When you think of a house, you would think that Comstock would have it quite posh and lavish, like a mansion, but it's completely different. Although, when we get put back into our own timeline, you can see that some of the house is set that way. The interior is looking a little more posh, and it also reminds me almost of the little sister view of the world in Bioshock 2. Our next area comes to the airships. The whole airships is pretty cool, and it's a different experience to everything else. Being able to take the skyhook around everywhere instead of just climbing stairs makes it really fun. But going into Comstock's section, the design is a little underwhelming. I just wish there was a bit more to it. But going to the other airships like the First Lady, that design again is pretty cool, but I wish there was more to it. Kind of like exploring the cupboard or the room where Elizabeth locked herself in. And then finally, the ending areas starting with the lighthouses. I really enjoyed going through the different areas and just seeing the Infinite get it, lighthouses everywhere, and even going back to the first game's lighthouse was such a cool throwback. And even that brief section in Rapture itself, it's really cool. With the ending areas, it would have been cool to look around a bit more, but I feel like that definitely would have affected the ending a bit. Just being locked into that tiny section is what makes the ending powerful. Now, you can't have a good experience without a fantastic soundtrack, and once again, Gary Skyman brings their genius into it. To me, the soundtrack is my favourite when it comes to the character themes and the environments. As well as the main soundtrack, there are a lot of remastered pop and folk songs that have been remade for the game. But starting with the main and very first experience, which really puts you into the game, is the bit where you get introduced to Columbia, the first ascension, and then the city. Those first two sections really get you every time, and it's a fantastic piece of the soundtrack, especially Lighter Than Air, as it feels like there's something nostalgic about it. As I said, there are multiple remade songs, mostly from stuff they had heard from the Tears, and one of the most main one is Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which is introduced in the starting church. And then even shown when Booker starts playing the guitar.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by?
One of my favourites is the repurposed version of Tears for Fears' Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which is already a great song, but I love this version too. Now, another song that features in the game can be heard on the main screen, and that is After You've Gone. It sounds just like ambience, and you know how much I love that stuff. You've got to take a listen. I am an absolute sucker for environments with music playing like that in the background, like it's over a radio or on a record or almost really poor speakers. Overall, the ambience of Colombia is so comforting for some reason. I often find myself, while working, listening to ambient videos of Colombia, just taking in the bustling atmosphere and the old music everywhere. It's really perfectly done. So there you have it. That's the journey through Bioshock Infinite's main story, and I hope I've managed to convey everything nicely. It is one of my all-time favourite games, and I really wanted to show how much I love it. It may not be way too in-depth, but it showcases everything I like about it, and now I hope you want to go through it yourself too, taking us through the story of Booker and Elizabeth through so many twists and turns that you wouldn't expect all the way, until the very powerful ending at the end. The art, music and gameplay is almost everything I could wish for in a good game, and it's all well executed. You can tell how much love and effort went into making it. However, there is one thing. The story is not over yet. Next on our list is Burial at Sea, which is Bioshock Infinite's DLCs, and they are so good to go through and gives a nice round off to their story, but I'll save those for their own videos. So thank you once again for reaching the end. I know this has taken a while to produce, but I hope you enjoyed it. Since I'm now working, I'm dedicating most of my weekends to working on this channel and writing up new videos, so there at least will be a continuous production on it. It will just take a little bit longer for everything to come out. Of course, there is also my other channel which you can check out and my many social medias. So that's it. I want to thank you again, and that's what I think about Bioshock Infinite.